Now let's look at back office extensibility. So the idea with that, why we invest in it is a developer heavy feature, but at the end of the day, it is about bringing your most valuable workflows right inside Ucommerce and placing them where it makes sense, so they're attached to whatever process they're relevant to, right? So if you're doing order processing, you know that you want that right there with the order, or if you're doing promotional work, you want it right there with the promotion. So this is the idea, that we can support those workflows that you want. In the previous update, we shipped customization of all the apps of Ucommerce, so you can hook in custom UI where you want. I can show you real quick here. Basically, the idea was that we wanted to enable the ability to go ahead and add your own capabilities to the apps in Ucommerce. So this is the section area, right, where I've enabled custom UI mode. And it's available everywhere, in the Stores app, in the Catalogs app, in the Products app, everywhere. So you can hook into anywhere with your own custom stuff. And I think I actually do have one if I look at an order. Just a little example of a customization we've done already. So this was the first iteration of back office extensibility. What we're talking about today is something different. In Ucommerce, the way you work with data is called field editors. These little pieces of UI here, where you manage a piece of information on a product, on a store, on an order, on many places in Ucommerce. And today we're introducing bespoke field editors, so you can basically build your own. You don't have to just work with the ones that we have, although pretty powerful. Sometimes you just need something very specifically you, and that's what you can do with it. You can hook it in many different places. So, for example, in channel management, when you're working with the sales channels within Ucommerce, you can have custom field editors that can go ahead and customize the way that you work with a channel. So I have a little example of that in my backend here. So what I've done is, let me just disable custom UI mode. For now, you only have it as like a support. For now, let me just show you what I did. So this is a store in Ucommerce. There are like 30 set up in this particular solution, and you can have more. But this is actually a custom field. So it's a field that's added to the store. You can add any field you want, but the editor for the organization is custom. So this one here is one, I would say I did it myself, but I had some help from an adult to actually build it. But the idea is that with this, you can go ahead and select a business. So that's not something that comes out of Ucommerce by default. It is a bespoke field editor. The idea here is, with this particular example, that for this store, you can start to select organizations to enable this store for, right? So this store becomes active only for these 3 organizations, but not the other ones, because you can attach business logic to it as well. So this is a little JavaScript component, a web component that's hooked in. It's built in the same way as those other extensions as before. And it enables me to do all sorts of things in here. It could also be a Google map. It could be an editor that connects to an ERP system to bring out some valuable information from that. Anything you can basically imagine. So that's for channel management. It's also activated in our product information management system. So it means you can do the same thing for catalogs, categories, products, and variants. And because it is the same underlying system, it means that this thing I built one time, I can actually go ahead and leverage by default anywhere in the platform. So here it is again. Now I can actually use the same piece of UI on my catalog and say this catalog is only for the Soylent Corporation, for example. I can go ahead and do it on a category as well. The metaphor starts to break down a little bit. I'm not sure why you would want to select an organization on a category, but imagine something else, right? I just wanted to show you, once you build it in one place, you can leverage it everywhere, but you don't have to leverage it everywhere. That's important. And of course, on a product as well, if I navigate to this guy here, same product editor, and it's available on variants as well. So there's a lot of bang for the buck. If you build a field editor, it will kick in many, many different places in the platform. It works in the promotion app as well. And here it's a little more advanced than what we've seen. What we saw so far is basically just an ability to edit a value on a field. Here, it's actually used to create custom promotional rules. And let me show you what that looks like by going to the Promotions app. So I have a campaign here set up, good to go. And just for the heck of it, I added the field here as well. It's just because I can. It's not really what I wanted to show you, but it also works here. What I wanted to show you was criterion. So in the last product update, I showed how you could build a criterion, a custom rule essentially, inside of Ucommerce. This buy at most is the one I built. What characterizes this particular rule is that I set it up via rules, and I just leverage the capabilities already inside Ucommerce. So we have a max amount editor here, and we also have a target order line editor, but they ship with Ucommerce. So I just remix them into a new rule. So I can say, you may buy a maximum of 100 of a thing, and it should be on the order line, or it should be on the order. So very little effort to build this thing. Now, where it becomes really cool is that with this particular release, we have enabled bespoke field editors for promotional rules as well. So I can go ahead and select an organization criterion. And you'll notice that this particular guy here, we've seen a bunch of times, right? And here, I think it makes a ton of sense, because for this particular promotional rules, you can now go ahead and say, well, it only triggers if you are in fact logged in and from one of these particular organizations. So build once, leverage everywhere, basically. Good. Let's see where else. Don't worry, we'll conclude this part soon, but it is so cool that we can have it everywhere. I'm very, very excited about that, as you can tell. Now, I want to take you back to where we started in the presentation. Don't worry, I'm not going to say it all one more time. I just want to bring back up the price engine, because it works for that as well. So you saw me doing a time-based criterion, and you know what? We went ahead and just added the ability to do your own rules as well, like in the promotion engine. And so let me show you what that looks like. So we go back to the price list that we spent a wee bit of time in. And you know what? What's interesting here is, remember when I did my account X and Y? Let me just search them out for you so they're a little easier to see, right? So we did that pricing, right? So we said this set of prices should be active for fiscal year 24, and this other set for fiscal year 25. Great. What we didn't say, though, is whose account X. But I think you can see where I'm going with this, probably. If I go into this and I go to the criterion, I can add another one. And I just took the liberty of hooking in, someone we've seen before, the organization criteria. And we did actually build it particularly for this scenario. So now, right, I've selected three let's just go with one, right? Because it is for one. So imagine this is account X. Right now we have contextual pricing, not just on time, but also on the organization in question. And as you can tell, I have combined my rules. So I have an organizational rule, which is fully custom, the editor, everything custom, and I have a standard one. But in this area here, you can also use the default field editors that we ship out of the box, like I could in the promotional engine. So that is super cool. That is something I'm super excited about. I really look forward to see what you do with this, because there's so much power here. All righty. Whoop, I got a little ahead of myself. While we were at it, we figured, well, why not enable definitions and the ability to add fields to shipping methods as well? So, and by extension, we get bespoke fields free of charge, right? So you can now go ahead and create definitions for shipping methods and attach your own fields. Why? Well, you can use it for shipping rules management, where you can start to do weight-based volumes, tiers, zones, whatever you can imagine, attach it to a shipping method and make it available based on those criterion that you build yourself. So that's kind of a cool thing. We actually discovered, as a little bit of internal baseball, that ship definition enabling things that don't have them is not a big job for us. So you're going to start to see more of this on various other things as well. But it's kind of cool. You can go ahead and add, stuff to your shipping methods. I don't want to bother you with actually going to a shipping method and showing you that organizational thing, but I did plug it in there as well, just to make sure I could. So that's the bespoke field editors. They work everywhere in the platform where definitions are enabled, which is, as you can tell, in many different places. So we started by looking at channel management, where we enabled that organizational fields, so you can start to attach a store to an organization. I showed you in product information management how catalogs, categories, products, and variants also support this capability. Promotional rules, you can do promotional rules custom with our built-in editors, so you don't have to do a lot of work to create a custom one. And you can build custom UI to support it as well. Same thing for our new contextual price rules in the price engine. Same basic idea, custom rules with default field editors as well as fully custom field editors, so you can build any experience you want. Shipping rules management, and I didn't talk about this too much, but payment rules management and configuration also included in this. I don't want to bore you with showing what a payment method looks like, but you get the gist of it. So that is bespoke fields and the price engine update.